The average home in Spokane is taking 10 times longer to sell than it did just 4 months ago. And if you're looking to sell, this might cause you to be a little bit nervous and have some questions. But I'm gonna do my best to answer as many of those as possible and to calm those nerves. So let's get right into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first time around. I am Hayden Halstead with the Halstead Home Team, your favorite Spokane realtor. And I make videos on this channel about the best restaurants in Spokane, the great neighborhoods, the market, real estate market updates, and anything related to things making Spokane better or worse to inform your decision on whether you are buying, selling, or investing in Spokane. So make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a like so you are notified when we post another video to keep you updated on what's going on here in Spokane. Additionally, I have people reach out to me all the time with questions about Spokane, so feel free to call, text, email me anytime, or leave a comment down below with what questions you have so I can make a video about it and get you the information you're looking for. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for a while, you've probably heard that the market has slowed down, specifically here in Spokane. But what does that actually mean? A slowdown has such a negative connotation. So I want to go over some data points with you, show you what's actually happening, and then we'll figure out whether that is a good or a bad thing in terms of your home sale, or if you're looking to buy or invest in real estate in the area. The first thing I want to touch on is days on market. And days on market is exactly what it sounds like. How many days has a home been on the market from the time that it was listed to the time that it found a buyer and they went under contract? If we take a look at this graph, it shows that the first 7 months of 2022, that the days on market have been in the single digits, and for the majority of 2022, it's been sitting around 5 days. But in the last few weeks to a couple months, we've seen a very rapid growth in the days on market, and right now we're sitting at about an average of 15 days on market here in Spokane. Now that data is for sold listings. So if we look at the current active inventory in Spokane County, which is 1,335 homes, and this is meaning homes that are still for sale, looking for a buyer, haven't accepted an offer, the average days on market is 39 and the median is 31. This is showing that our data points in a few months from now are going to show an even greater increase in days on market, because these active listings will eventually become the sold listings, and that will affect the range of days that we have on the market. And so within a few months, our average days on market could go from 4 days all the way up to 40 days very shortly. The big question is why is this happening? Why now? And the big reason is more sellers and less buyers, and each of those happening for different reasons, but at the same time. Let's look at the number of active listings over the last couple of years. The top of the red line is where we are at as of July 2022, and that's nearly 2 times the inventory we had in 2020 and 3 times the inventory we had in 2021. So why are so many sellers entering the market now? Well, I think there's a few reasons. One of them being that sellers are trying to time the market. They think that prices are going to go down, and so they think now is the time to put it on the market before prices fall even more. I think other sellers are getting back into the market because maybe they've been wanting to sell over the last couple of years, but they were fearful to do so because of the intensity of the market, or maybe they were trying to buy a bigger house or downsize but move neighborhoods here in Spokane, and that was nearly an impossible feat if you were trying to make a lateral move here in Spokane, because having a home sale contingency, meaning you need the cash out of your house in order to purchase the next one, that was nearly an impossible offer to get accepted. So there's a lot of people that have been sitting on the sidelines wishing they could make a move. Now they're finding the opportunity to get into the market, shop around with the home sale contingency, put something under contract, and then be able to put their house on the market as well. So there's probably a lot more inter-Spokane shifting going on right now than there was 2 years ago. Now, there will probably be some comment down below about how foreclosures are going to flood the market and that inventory will drop prices, but the latest data shows that foreclosure levels have stayed the exact same as they've been over the last couple of years, and that we've not seen an influx of foreclosures at this point. And if there is an influx of people that are struggling to make their payments and get ahead on their payments, most, if not all, people in Spokane that have a home have equity in their property. There's very few people that are actually underwater on their property, especially if they bought within the last 18, maybe prior to 18 to 24 months and earlier. They for sure have equity. And so if you're watching this video and you're struggling to make your payments, you're starting to get letters from the bank, just know that you could probably put your house on the market and make a profit get a fresh start with some money in your pocket. You don't need to sell to a fast cash offer that's probably not going to net you nearly as much. Or even worse, sell your house to the bank and not make anything and destroy your credit in the process. So instead of destroying your credit, destroy that like button with all that great information. See what I did there? So it is very true that there are a lot more homes on the market and sitting on the market than there were just a few months ago, but additionally, there are just less buyers than there were even 4 to 5 months ago. As we can see, the number of home sales is down pretty significantly in comparison to the last 2 years, even when we were going through the whole pandemic. In July of 2022, we closed less than 220 homes than the year prior, which means less deals are being put together. And additionally, the number of times lock boxes were opened in the month of July is down nearly 30%. The main reason for less buyers is due to the rise in interest rates. Buyers have just been dealt a hand of 5 to 6% interest rates when just a few months ago they were dealing with 2 to 3% interest rates in this price range. So their monthly payments have gone from pretty affordable to really unaffordable. So generally a rule of thumb that if interest rates go up 1%, that home prices will come down about 10%. And there's a big caveat to what I'm about to say, but as we can see, we've come down from a peak price in Spokane of around $450,000 to being closer to about $410,000, which is exactly a 10% decrease. Now, before you get super scared that prices are dropping and going down, have home values decreased by 10%? Is your home worth 10% less than it was a few months ago? The short answer is no. I made this point in a previous video. You can go check it out over here. But fair market value was not at that $450,000 price range because buyers were under duress, meaning they had to act in a frenzy in order to get into a house. The definition of market value is when a buyer and a seller can come to an agreement on something when neither party is under duress. Buyers were very desperate at the time, so market value just could not be actually determined at that time. Now we are entering into a market where neither buyer nor seller is in an incredibly desperate situation to make a transaction happen. So we are just falling back into what is the actual value of your property at today's current interest rates. Now, if you had sold a few months earlier, could you have made a little bit more money? Probably, but that would have been a price above fair market value. That's just the one thing I want you to note, is that those people that were selling above the asking prices, getting tons of offers, it wasn't market value that they were getting. They were getting way above fair market value for their homes. And you shouldn't feel upset that you missed out on anything like that either, because maybe it just wasn't the right time for your situation. And so even if you had taken action during that time, I think it's most likely something would have gone wrong. And even if you made 10% more, something from above would have told us differently that this wasn't the right time for you. And it's probably a good thing that you waited for a more balanced market to make a transaction. Being able to sell your home in a month's time is still historically very fast compared to what we have seen in previous markets. And if you've lived in your home for more than 2 years, you're sitting on an amount of equity that we have not seen in history before, even for a short period of time like that. It's not normal for any one person to make their annual salary or more in a 12 to 24 month period in the equity of their home. Our housing market right now is starting to just look a little bit more like the stock market, where everybody bought in because they were really excited and we went past the fundamental value, and now people are starting to sell off because they're getting a little bit scared, and we're starting to settle back at what the fair value is of the market. As long as you hire a great realtor that's going to market your property well and communicate with you throughout the process to help your emotions throughout it, to let you know that this is just how the market is, it's totally normal, we're going to be fine, you are going to have no issues finding a buyer within a relatively short period of time and have a relatively smooth transaction. Because honestly, some of the transactions from a couple years ago when things were crazy some were great because there were no inspections, there were no appraisals, but honestly, people were, I would say, a lot more unhappy with how things were ending up at the end of every transaction. My biggest piece of advice is that more homeowners need to start thinking more in advance if they're going to sell their home. You're going to need a little bit more time. You can't just say, oh, I have to move next month, call up the agent, let's get the house sold, which those situations do come up. But if you know when things are going to happen, I would be contacting your realtor a few months ahead just to make a plan a little bit earlier, get your house on the market a little bit earlier, because it is just going to take a little bit longer to find a buyer. So I hope this video is helpful, maybe calm some nerves if you're thinking about selling, and even if things are slowing down, my personal opinion is that it is kind of a welcome slowdown, because buyers and sellers are going to be able to put together way better deals that makes everybody happier, and be able to just have a more open line of communication to just make these buyers a lot more happy. Sellers are getting still great terms and prices for their homes that we've never seen before, just because things have gone up so much. So it is really not a bad time for buyers or sellers right now. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. I will respond, or you can call, text, or email me directly right here. Thanks so much for watching this video. Why don't you go ahead and check this one out, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.